Stanton. Welcome to The Spin, a new talk show here on HBN focused on you. This show is going to be on everyday life and everyday people. Our goal is to make your life in the verse easier, fuller, and more enjoyable. I'm Laura Jumper, and today we have invited an expert on med pens to explain a little about how they work and how to use them properly. We will also learn a bit about darkness and take a look at what you guys have been up to lately. To finish things off, we will call a civilian who's out doing what they usually do and have a little chat. But right now, I will introduce Dr. Michael Gregg. He's a professor with the Rees Polar University of Medicine in the RETAR system. He has a PhD in cell cultivation. He also has a permanent seat with his name on it on the Medical Staff Consulting Board of Reviews at CureLife on Microtech. He's actually in New Babbage this week for the annual review of CureLife's MedPen, and he has agreed to join us today to explain how the MedPen works and how to use it. Dr. Gregg, welcome. Did we miss anything in your presentation?
Oh no, not at all. It came off as very professional. Well, maybe that I'm a decent baker, but my family wouldn't agree, so we better leave that out.
Yeah, that sounds good. We wouldn't want to upset anyone this early in our first episode.
That's nice of you.
You have joined us to talk about CureLife's MedPen.
Yes.
A gadget that most people have used or at least heard about, but also one that at least I don't know very much about. Do you want to start by explaining a little how and when I should use a MedPen? But also if there are situations where I should not use them.
Sure, that sounds like a great idea. So when you put the MedPen to your arm and you press the button, you activate an injectoral chamber that holds two major ingredients. One ingredient is nanites, which are very small robots that quickly triggers and enhances your natural healing process of clotting and forming scabs and providing oxygen to damaged tissue. For the nanites to work properly, the injection also has to come with white blood cells, which help with cleaning wounds and fighting off infections.
Wow.
The white blood cells, as I'm sure you know, are naturally produced by the human body, but not very quickly. The nanites, on the other hand, they work very quickly and need the white blood cells right away when they enter your system, which is why you inject them both. And situations where you could use a MedPen could be if you're in an accident where you fear you might lose a lot of blood and your body might not be able to heal on its own. MedPens are also used by security forces and soldiers that quickly need to heal wounds in battle, so there's another use. We also prescribe MedPens for patients with hemophilia. They're also pretty effective with helping your body fight infections. And that's about it.
Okay, so
I think
the MedPen have lots of uses, but I'm thinking there might be situations where I shouldn't use a MedPen, right?
If you're asking if there are any dangers of using it too much or if it's damaging to you, I can say fairly confidently that it's a very safe product. The ingredients are synthetic white blood cells and biodegradable nanites, and there aren't any known dangers of having high volume of white blood cells in your system. The only known side effect is that your scabs might smell a little different, since the cells are not from your own body, and the nanites are much smaller than even the size of a red blood cell, about 500 times smaller in fact, and they can travel around in your veins with ease. They're biodegradable as well, and will probably have dissolved before you even have time to get another injection. The only downside would be that it costs money, and it would be about 50 credits down the drain if it's a wound that would heal on its own. I mean, for that money you could probably cook dinner for a week, at least.
For a week?
Yes.
Really? You have to teach me how to make food that cheap.
I can't teach anyone, I'm afraid. I'm an awful cook. A good baker, but an awful cook. We did, however, recently get the new Intergalactic Cook-Off cookbook.
Oh.
I can really recommend it. Yesterday we had Banu King Soup, and if I remember correctly, we got the ingredients for around 10 credits.
Oh wow, I have to check that out. And speaking of Banu, are other species than human compatible with MedPen?
Oh, it's funny you should ask, because right now this topic is actually quite a hot potato on the consulting board. It was designed for humans, sure, but we have started doing experiments where we make modifications to it so that it allows for other species, as long as they have similar biological compositions to ours. As in being carbon-based, have a cardiovascular system that heals physical trauma, stuff like that. And in our experiments, we have adjusted the nanites to register what sort of species they're entering in order for them to act accordingly. We also have made adjustments to the white blood cells to be more versatile and more easily be able to adapt to other species. But I must remind you that these are still experiments. We have to test it further and really make sure that it works as well as it does in humans. In theory, this could also work for animals, but the nanites have to carry a biological profile for every species they help. And they are only so big. They're very small. Right now it would be difficult to let them carry that much data.
Dr. Michael Gray, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, my pleasure. I love going in depth about medical equipment. I'm afraid I could be considered a nerd in that regard.
A helpful nerd, I would add.
Oh, yes, that's me.
Thank you, Dr. Greg. We will be back shortly. After the break, it's time to get a little closer with the darkness of space. See you in a little while.
Hey, I know you. You're a misunderstood Casanova, right? King of a trash pile? Neglected by your boss and rejected by the rest. You should subscribe to 12 issues of Frog Focus, a magazine filled with articles and stories that will mold you into a respectable and desirable citizen. You're a frog now, but what you become is up to you. Frog Focus, your friend. Designed for Mobiglass.
Welcome back. I hope your break was as good as mine, as I managed to grab a fresh banana. And you should grab a snack as well. The time has come for us to tell you a story. And today, that story is about something that most of us can relate to, either now or at least in memory. It's something you come across almost every day, something that can be discomforting, and for some, even a cause for panic. This story is about a fear of the dark. Enjoy.
The dark is something that keeps getting closer and closer. Our lives are increasingly lived out in space, and most of our travel is through darkness and jump points. So why haven't we gotten more used to it? Most of us who have evolved on Earth-like planets have a special relationship with the dark. Most of us were scared of it when we were little, and some still are after growing up. While most fears are based on life experience, some seem almost universal. A fear of the dark falls into the latter category because it's not the dark itself that is scary. It's what it conceals that scares us. The possibility of what hides in the dark is only limited by your imagination. When we evolved in our respective homeworlds, a fear of the dark was an evolutionary benefit. Predators used the dark for cover when hunting, and prey who feared the dark stood a better chance of surviving. The prey that took the most precautions survived to make offspring. You and me. Even to this day, we benefit from a fear of the dark, but it is not tigers or Matyogyai who lurk in the darkness, but pirates, radiation, and unknown life forms on new and uncharted worlds. Your fear is a heritage bestowed upon you by your biological ancestors. It's a link to your homeworld and its history, and you should try not to unlearn it. Rather, become friends with it and teach it about risk and assessment. You'd do well to give it a challenge from time to time, because that's how it learns. But do not discard it. After all, that's what made sure your ancestors could put you where you are today.
Can you feel the wind against your skin? Breathe in. Thaum Oxypens. Elevate.
Hello and welcome back. It's time for the spin. Today we're gonna take a look at some of the most beautiful, inspiring and artsy environments available from around the Stanton system, captured by local photographers. Take a look. Oh, how I love that segment. I just want to pack all my stuff up in suitcases and go where I please for a while. As a matter of fact, after the break, we're gonna talk to a woman who did just that. Stay tuned.
Hey, back again, I see.
I sure am.
Welcome.
I'll have a number 2, please, with zesty fries. Oh, hi there. You know, it's true what they say. I've been eating at Whammers every day for 10 years and you always have a good time.
welcome back. I'm so glad you guys are still with us because the time has come for us to calm an inspiring civilian and have a chat. This is Calling Stanton. For this first episode, we're going to actually calm an old co-worker of ours. Her name is Muka, and she was a lights technician, but figured she wanted to change careers. Supposedly, her life is pretty interesting now, so we're going to check up on her. Let's see here. I hope she picks up. That would be...
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi, Laura.
Hi.
Oh, right, you were gonna call me.
Yeah.
Is this live?
Yeah, we're live. Is this a bad time to talk?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I'm working, but it's pretty slow now.
That's great, because in this part of the show, we're calming civilians from around the verse and are having them do a little show and tell on their day-to-day life. And we know you worked at Zark Media before as a lighting technician, but you changed your career to do something completely different.
Definitely
right?
something different, yeah. Can I show it now?
Yeah, please do.
Right. Let me just flip the camera. There. So this is what I do now. I spend almost all my time with undocumented plant life.
Wow! Is that here on Hurston?
Yeah, it is, but it's on the other side of the planet from Lorville.
But you're not working for Hurston Dynamics?
No, that's right. I'm registering and collecting plant samples for the Ark. This here's the type of cacti that we've been collecting samples from to put in our registry.
Mm-hmm.
The Stanton system was discovered relatively recently, and there's still lots of flora that have not been registered yet.
I have to say, your workspace looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it is. And it's important also. We put all these seeds in vaults to not lose the plant life if a disaster occurs.
And why is it we need all those seeds? Surely plants go extinct as well as come to life all the time all over the universe.
Yeah, they do. You're right. And we should come to terms with that as well, the endness of life. When it comes to plant life, there's always the possibility of disease or other disasters. Maybe there's a new bacteria spreading, and the only cure is some special kind of fern that went extinct 5,000 years ago. Or maybe a planet happens to lose a lot of its plant life from a natural disaster. And with the right seeds, we could save that planet and the homes of the inhabitants.
This actually sounds really important.
Yeah, it is. And also, I love plants.
Alright, I'll let you get back to it.
Sure.
Take care now.
Bye!
And with that, we're actually at the end of our show. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for OliverZ Zark and Stanton Today news after these messages. Bye now!
Life is not what you expected, yet here you are. The only choice left to make is to leave it all. So ditch that kid, quit that job. Sapphire's Bolt plan covers everything from 3 months pay to 6 years alimony. When you feel the need to bolt, call us. Sapphire Insurance. Life is precious.